Hello again, it's Garson, and I'm pretty hyped because if you look at the top left here, we do have the stress test. It wasn't because I waited in the registry, it's because somebody commenting, viewing the videos helped me out with that. So we're going to give a shout out to you and so much more. I have a few people to thank, including you, right? But first, as always, let's go ahead and beat people up. I don't know why my extra attack's not working, but thanks to yesterday's video, I know how to make a Warlock that can cast haste with short rest, right? So, let's go for it. Booming Blade! Yeah, Booming Blade. Let's see if we can curse this guy and make a Spectre. Right. And then, Death Domain. Death. Yes, Death Domain. It's real. Let's go. One. Curse Spectre. Ooh, spooky ghosts. Between Death Domain and Hexblade, Necromancers are gonna love this. Alright, but that's what we're here for. Check it out. Okay, we have our new friend. That's right, Cuthbert is now a unholy ghost. Arnson is terrified out of his mind. Here we go. I wouldn't hit that guy. Don't be hitting that guy now. Alright. We have another Warlock here I was testing with. Cuthbert, Murphy, let's go. Heal. Nice. There we go. Okay, now that we've got everybody in line. So, check it out. Keep on trucking with our haste. I don't know why my extra attack's not working. Trust me, it's just... That was just Booming Blade, but it's like... It's just not working. But hey! More Spectres! I don't know how many you're supposed to get. We're testing things in the new patch. This is kind of hilarious. But also, check this out. So, just for the grab bag of information, if you use this... And you can also Touch of Death. What the fuck? Yes. Oh my god, I have so much to talk about. These videos are going to get really sloppy because I'm excited about stuff. But first, a big thank you guys. Ready? Here we go. Pop out some notes. First off, this is the legit patch 8 stress test. This is not live or anything like that. This is the stress test that they're trying to test things out. I've already found some weird stuff. I'm also confirming things, but it's all thanks to you guys, because last night Sunder said, wait, you don't have the stress test key yet? Here, I got a bonus one. Here, I'll help you out. So thank you, Sunder. You're awesome. You know who else is awesome? Mystica, because she helped me figure out I can, in fact, do this necromancy the way I wanted to yesterday. I had a really cool idea waking up to do Animate Dead, right, and make a necromancer, a proper necromancer out of Warlocks. And even further, look at this, ZM Train, he said a comment in yesterday's video, hey, another good way to use the Wizlock technology you showed is to use this, right? So thank you all gave me something awesome. I can now, trust me, I've been waiting to dive into this stuff for you guys as well as myself, right? But a big thank you to you too, because you're watching, we're having fun. You guys always end up leaving awesome comments, so thank you. If you want to support the channel, stick around to the end. If you got some requests for patch 8 though, now is going to be the time, guys, because we can now make the coolest kind of necromancer. It's all thanks to patch 8, but even if you don't have patch 8, stick around. This is going to be relevant to you because I'm going to show you how to use a Warlock to make a necromancer, right? It just gets cooler with the Hexblade, but first I want to go over patch 8's grab bag, okay? What I mean by this is just some things I've been noticing and confirming. I have no idea why my extra attack does not work. I would normally get 2. Everyone was hyping up Booming Blade because I would be able to swing this as many times as I have extra attack. Well, as you can see here, I have Deepened Pact at level 5, and when you have Pact Blade, you get your extra attack like a normal paladin or ranger or fighter, you know. And I do have Pact of the Blade to make things, you know, more concrete. And I thought it was maybe the multi-class, but even Shadowheart here is not able to attack twice with the extra attack. So I don't know what's going on. Doesn't really matter right now. We'll figure things out. Another thing is, on top of that, Boomer Blade is still crazy. Now that we officially, we can officially see the Booming Blade on these videos. I'm not using mods anymore for this, other than just like the one that gives me items. So this Booming Blade is what I was been hyping for a while. It doesn't seem to work with the element augmentation cantrip amulet. So when you use a cantrip, which this is a cantrip, right? When you use a cantrip, and it's thunder damage, acid, blah blah blah, thunder damage being it, right? You'll use your spellcasting modifier, our +4, to add to the thunder damage of the cantrip, right? So that's not the case, unfortunately. But it still triggers Arcane Synergy, so we know it's reading it as a cantrip. And then it's also triggering a spell or a cantrip from this ring, whatever element it may be, in our case Thunder, it would keep adding a little bit of thunder damage to every next strike. Well, if you just keep using Booming Blade, it's always the next strike, right? So this is actually a great, this just got a glow up because of this move. So this is a great setup, assuming this works in the final live patch. I don't know if this is a bug, or they fixed it, or they thought it was broken, because I heard that this was working, and now it's not. So I'm a little disappointed, but it's still cool. Booming Blade is awesome. I love spell blades. Death Domain is insane. I just showed you. Now, since Touch of Life, I did a whole video on why Death Domain is going to be probably one of the strongest new subclasses, or overall strongest things in the game you could play, and you don't even need to multi-class. 12 levels gives you an amazing Necromancer, an amazing Smiter, an amazing Cleric, like so much more, okay? But a lot of it had to do with my excitement to play Touch of Death. It's like a short rest, necrotic, Divine Smite, and if you combo it with Inflict Wounds, which is this crazy spell, 8d10 at level 6, right? Turns out Larian made it that you can you can combo them. This is insanity. So you can do massive amounts of damage, especially if you use a hold person spell. So I figured I'd throw that in the grab bag. Confirmed Death Domain is as crazy as I thought it was going to be. At least, hopefully you don't nerf it, right? And another thing is you also ignore all resistance to necrotic. It says, this is something I had worried about last night when we were looking at the notes, but spells you cast ignore necrotic resistance, okay? It turns out everything is ignored. Like my weapon here has necrotic, it's ignored. My Divine Strike, it's ignored. And then, of course, any kind of spell damage is ignored. And that's the way I think it's supposed to be on tabletop, but honestly, I just think it should be like that. Give me a reason to go level 6 in this, right? Among all the other stuff. So you let me know if there's something. Like I said, this is going to be sloppy, including what we're talking about in this video, but I'll try and throw these grab bags in here so we can get, as like a team, figure out what's going on with the new patch. Something you're interested, let me know. But today I'm talking about Hexblade and making a Necromancer out of a Warlock. So like I said, pay attention even if you don't have the patch yet, right? I was waiting desperately too, but now we can have some fun with this, whether you have the patch or not. This is cool. You can make a Hexblade or Hex Curse, which really enhances the Necromancer theme, right, and functionality. So the way this works is your weapon, when you bind it, right, you'll actually have a little curse, and you can also manually curse every short rest, okay? And it has some bonuses. We'll talk about Hexblade some other time, but for today, what I want to show you is that you can create some undead allies, this accursed specter, okay? So if someone dies with your curse on them, you now can use your reaction to make a zombie floating hell dude, right? So Cuthbert here really enjoyed his 10 turns of being a demonic zombie thing. Okay, so with that being said, what if we could also use the Warlock slots to properly build a Necromancer, and later on at level 11 you actually get Create Undead, which creates a mummy. I'll demonstrate. So, just pop this guy out. Yeah, alright. And using our Warlock slots, we can also make Flying Ghouls. Okay. So, we are a true blue Necromancer because we aren't just stuck to the once per day Animate dead that you get Pact of the Tome, if you knew about that. We can now just use our level 5 slots to make zombies, skeletons, or even later on ghouls, okay? And this is awesome because once we start getting things together, we have the mummy, we have the ghoul, the specters, we really feel like a different kind of Necromancer, okay? But let me crash course what we talked about yesterday. Go watch yesterday's videos. I did this a little bit more in detail. Essentially, with Pact magic, just so you know, these spell slots, they're always max level, and the more you level up your Warlock, the better they get, like a normal caster. But you only ever get these, but they come back on short rest, okay? So, they're always, they upgrade with your Warlock level, and they're always going to max out with the upcastable spells, right? For instance, Hold Person here would upcast to its max of 4 people, 4 targets with a level 5 spell slot, okay? So, those are something we really want to work with, right? Because they come back on short rest, and we can keep making ghouls every short rest. Even if they die in combat, we can make 2 or even 3 of them per battle. If they keep dying, we just keep using dead bodies on the fly, and then we just restock our ammo on short rest. Now, normally you have 2, like I said, it would be like this, but purple. But at level 11 Warlocks, you get 3 in their level 5 spell slots. And you can use any spell you know. So like we were talking about yesterday, this is where Wizard comes into play. If we get even 1 level of Wizard, what we can now do is learn Scrolls. Now you can only learn Scrolls in a certain way, okay? But I'm going to show you an easy way to use this Wizlock technology. But just to explain it really quick, even 1 level dip can learn spells from Scrolls. And then you learn them, you now know them permanently, right? So if you respec or whatnot and you have the spell slots to use, or say the Warlock slots, you can definitely use these spells, okay? But you need to know the right spell level slot, and it also goes for using that spell slot. Now the weird thing with Warlocks is, even though I have, technically I have level 5 spell slots, I can't learn 5 or lower spells, okay? So I'm going to show you a trick to learn it anyway, but what I was originally doing is just respecing into a Wizard all the way up to level 11, and then I could learn any scroll I want. And then when I turn into a Wizard Warlock, as long as I have the 1 Wizard level in a multi-class, I can use it so long as I have the spell slots to use it, alright? So if you see here on my Wizard levels, I can actually swap out spells. If I want Haste, or if I wanted Scorching Ray, I can learn things. Right? And then I'd respec as a Warlock, and that's a little convoluted, but just so you know, caster levels, when you're multi-classing a normal spellcaster, say a Cleric and a Wizard together, you're always accumulating what's called a caster level, okay? So don't fear mixing a half caster with a full caster, or a Cleric with a Eldritch Knight or whatnot. They'll just benefit to whatever they usually contribute. Let's say a Ranger, it's every 2 levels you get an upgrade to your caster level, right? A Cleric or a Wizard always upgrades their caster level every level, okay? So try to use that, but what we're using here is you can continue to grow your spell slots, but Warlocks don't meld very well, and we can see that. However, I have the fix for you. So yesterday we went over it in more detail. What I've got now is a better technique to doing this, thanks to you guys commenting, right? So the first level, you should go Wizard, because this is going to make it so your spell modifier is Intelligence, which we don't want. So if we take our next level as a Warlock afterwards, Charisma will now be our spell modifier for everything we do, like Arcane Synergy and Amulet and so on and so forth, okay? And if we use a spell slot elixir, for instance, if we use this level 4 Elixir of Arcane Cultivation, it's a level 4 spell slot. I don't know why it won't work with my Warlock spell slots to learn things, but here's a quick fix for you. You would take this, drink it, you will now be granted a single level spell slot, right? And then you can come in here and you can now learn with the multi-class. You don't have to respec a bunch of times, right? So if you were just doing a normal playthrough, didn't want to respec, take Wizard 1. Now you can learn Scrolls. Go through your day with Warlock and keep leveling up. But when you're ready, you find the scroll you need. You're going to need one of these cultivation, arcane cultivation elixirs, okay? And you'll get a single spell slot, and now you can learn anything of that spell slot or lower, okay? So let's learn that. And now it's going to be on my list. As you can see, I just added Dimension Door. So let's go ahead and get rid of that. Now I have Dimension Door. Now, the final trick here is, it's got to be the same level as the scroll. You can learn it, or higher, right? So if you have the level 4 slot, or lower I should say, you can learn that scroll, okay? But you have to have a Warlock spell slot that can actually use it. So you have to be a higher Warlock spell slot, or, you know, I'm confusing the wordage here. Obviously, a level 5 Warlock slot is higher than a level 4 spell, right? Which means on the level 4 slot, I can use Dimension Door. So let's take our good old buddy, the Ghoul here, and we'll go over here and whoop, take my Ghoul friend. See? And we use the Warlock spell slot. So the Wizlock technology just became that much more advanced, right? And some notables are, obviously, you want to be able to use Haste. That's what we showed you yesterday on the channel, right? So I want to be able to use Haste. I want to be able to use, say, Magic Weapon or Long Strider, or even False Life, right? False Life can be upcasted with this level 5 spell slot, automatically upcasting to 27 temporary HP. That's pretty cool, especially for Necromancy. And of course, Animate Dead. So let me give you the crash course on Animate Dead. It's the key to Necromancy, really properly playing Necromancer, okay? Since we automatically upcast, right? we can now use Animate Dead at higher upcasted levels. So instead of using these dinky skeletons or these, you know, zombies or whatnot, we can actually upcast it to get the ghoul that you see here. But you have to have a level 5 spell slot for you. So as you're leveling up your Warlock, you're also leveling up your Necromancy potential, which is awesome, right? So Animate Dead is the key to being a good Necromancer. The better the spell slot, you have the Warlock slots, right? Then more zombies, or eventually you'll be able to upgrade to a ghouls. The only weird conditional here is, and you might be able to want to build this, control it yourself, is I can't use the level 4 version of the spell because it's already been upgraded. It's just the weird nuances of being a Warlock Necromancer. My guess is if I had a level 4 slot, I could make 3 zombies instead. And I'll show it to you right here, right? So if I use a level 4 slot and Animate Dead, I can now make 3 ghouls or 3 zombies instead. So, I know, it's all pretty weird, right? But it's cool that you can even do it, right? And with Hexblade, it gets even further because now you have those temporary specters, and at a high enough Warlock level, you can create the Mummy, which is a very powerful undead ally as well. Look at that HP, the resistances, thanks to my undead ward and whatnot, and so much more. So, you really want the feeling of a Necromancer, but have the new flavor of being a Hexblade, you can use this, right? So this is a work in progress because I don't know what's going on with Hexblade, but you've already seen the power. I'm just going to give you this to you, and then I'm going to kind of end the video, just kind of get to the point here. So if you wanted to build this too in patch 8, or in the meantime, if you just want to build a Necromancer Warlock, you now know how to do the spell slot trick with the Arcane Cultivation and getting the right spell slot, okay? So, the Necro Boomer Gale. What we got here is a level 1 dip first, right? And then we'll go Warlock after, that way Charisma is retained as our spell modifier for things like Arcane Synergy, okay? The stats, the reason I went with 10 Dexterity is because I'm going to use the gloves to get 18 Dexterity for free, which means I can get 16 Constitution. This gives me more HP, better concentration, and so on and so forth. But Charisma, the great thing about Warlocks is you just need Charisma for everything. Eldritch Blast, Booming Blade, weapon attacks, talking to people, telling them to kill themselves. Okay, so Actor is the trick to this, right? We get +1 charisma. It'll take us from 17 to 18, right? And so we would be able to have performance and deception checks on expertise while also raising us to 18 charisma. Now, after that, you probably want to get 2 charisma so you can get up to 20 with the hag hair or something. I know mine's a little uneven here, but like I said, this is a work in progress. However, you can get up to 20 charisma very easily if my hag hair wasn't here on Gale, but over here. So that'd be 20, okay? Now, the Necro Staff is really important because if you're killing with your necromancy spells like Bone Chill or Blight or whatnot, you can actually get free cast of necromancy spells with the heightened necromancy and life essence, okay? So this thing's awesome, plus it gives opponents disadvantage against your Blight and some other necromancy spells, okay? Now, Kethric Shield is awesome. It raises the accuracy of your spell save and spell attacks, while also giving you 2 armor class. You got the Dex Gloves, like I said. The Agility Armor is insane. If you have a decent amount of dex, like 18, gives a lot of armor class base, as well as giving you your full +4 here on the armor class. And the Boner Circlet. So, Circle of Bones makes all of your undead within a 20-foot area resistant to bludgeoning, slashing, piercing. So now that we have the specters, we have the ghouls, and we have the mummies, you're going to really like being a Hexblade with this circlet, because you're running around with your ghoul friends, killing everybody, and they're not dying so easily. But even if they do, you can use your short rest Warlock spell slots to keep rezzing the dead as you fight as a Hexblade, okay? And then this little combo right here should be really powerful. Like I said, in the grab bag, don't know if this isn't working as intended or not, and I don't know what's going on with my extra attack, but the way this works is when you cast a cantrip like Booming Blade, right, it'll trigger Arcane Synergy, and it'll also trigger the element infusion. So while you and your ghouls are killing everything, you're actually really a powerhouse in and of yourself, especially since you'll have haste with yesterday's video on short rest, right? Boom. All right. And I should say, Once you've learned this spell, you can get rid of this elixir, and you can just use some other elixir too. So you're not locked into this elixir just to learn a spell. You just need to use it temporarily. But yeah, now we have haste, we have extra attack, we have booming blade like out of control, we have ghoul friends, and so much more. Like I said, sorry for the sloppy videos. I would show you how to level and play these builds, because now that I have the stress test, we are going to play the subclasses in their prime, pure 12 levels. So come watch the live stream, and thank you to everybody who's been dropping comments for advice or helping me out, like Sunder did with the stress test, and Mystica and ZM Train for the freaking technique that fixed this. I could finally do this cool concept. And thank you for being my sponsor and watching these videos. I'm sorry it's going to be sloppy for the next couple videos, but you guys want to know stuff, I want to know stuff, and that's what we're here for. Like I said, member support's as low as it's going to be on YouTube, but really what matters right now is thank you guys. Keep on watching. I got some cool stuff to show you. All right, for now, take it easy, and I'll see you in the streams.